It was just a very not only unfortunate but devastating thing to see. Like, I'm gonna play a clip later on in the day or later on in the morning by Noah Odor. I don't know if you remember him. He was here last year after the elections, and he came out strongly and said, "We are not going to loot, we're not going to burn, we're not going to go on the streets of our neighborhood because we're the ones who, at the end of the day, end up suffering. When all this is over, we're the ones who have to go back to those same streets, to those same homes, and have to rebuild." So the sights from yesterday were absolutely horrible. And you could hear people crying and saying, do what you have to do. But when they don't attack our institutions, don't attack our homes. It was, again, just sites that were just being displayed all over social media the whole of last night. Johnson Sakaja also came out to kind of say that they finally, put out the fire and deployed cops to Kibera, and the fire has been contained. And it's just horrible scenes coming out of there. So as Thursday approaches, we do pray for more sane minds to prevail, for people to look around them and see what they are sacrificing. What they are sacrificing right now. It makes no sense whatsoever to go to these extremes. And like I said, yesterday, it's just a few rogue people who will go to these extents. A few. There are those who truly, truly want their voices to be heard. But then this takes it all away. Anyway, let's take a look at the news making the headlines this morning. Now, this is a headline on Nation today. It says, "Dark Monday, stop this madness." And the picture that's there is of a young girl who's being rescued after she was hit by tear gas as demonstrators engage police in running battles at Madare. Now, two imposing police trucks bearing water cannons stand side by side like a pair of fearsome giant warriors. All around stones, but the tarmac and the choking stench of tear gas pervades the air. This was a stage 2 in Kawangware in Nairobi yesterday, a very veritable battlefield. Abandoned shoes, worn out t-shirts, and used tear gas canisters captured the pitched battle between opposition supporters and anti-riot police officers. The two antagonists, for the 20 minutes that the battle lasted, ceased to be united by the common blood of motherland Kenya and came to blows in a life and death struggle for the right of way. Each possessing a strong will to show their might, the rubber literally met the road as the mayor supporters on one side and the police on the other. None was willing to blink, but one side had to give, and it was the former. The isolated area was the climax of the second Monday of anti-government protests, where tear gas canisters, rubber bullets, and police batons meted violence on opposition supporters. Azimio leader Raila Odinga, in his characteristic beige combat gear, with hordes of his supporters in tow, and a section of opposition leaders in the entourage, was in his element in an area where he enjoys near fanatical following. The former premier had about an hour earlier emerged from Chungwa House in neighboring Lavington around 1:30 p.m. Making his way to the informal settlement, he showed no signs of anger or edginess. He was calmness personified. The veteran opposition leader had kept many guessing of his whereabouts until towards 1 p.m. when word went around that he would surface from Lavington and not Serena Hotel, as was the case last Monday. Armed to the teeth and menacing in their approach, the anti-riot police officers swiftly moved into action, barricading the road as Azimio leaders attempted to break through. The police hurled tear gas, canisters, and volleys of water cannons in every direction, sending the leaders and the supporters scampering into their cars and alleyways under a thick cloud of tear gas and volley of water, while the crowd retaliated with a barrage of stones. Not even a battery of local and foreign journalists was spared as their vehicles were targeted. Amid the melee, a police car was burnt by the protesters, but no one was injured in the process. The police had won the battle, but not the war. At the battle stage two, the leaders had later regrouped and traversed Kawangware, braving through plumes of tear gas. At every stop, Mr. Odinga was quick to tell his supporters to join him in compelling President William Ruto's government to lower the high cost of living. Kawangware was a place of contrast, though. Katina Stage 46 and 56 and Congo were characterized by running battles from agitated youth who spent the better part of the day trying to overrun the police. Little business went on because of the combination of fear of looting and some traders joining in the protests. However, the other side of the sprawling informal settlement neighboring Riruta Satellite and Dagoretti Corner remained relatively calm, with shops and stalls opened while matatus also plying their routes. Now, unfortunately, some of our colleagues and members of the press were attacked by knife wielding people. Some people left with horrible, horrible bruises and were really, really injured. Cars damaged, property stolen. It was just horrible scenes that were coming out yesterday, as well as some of our colleagues as well being arrested. John Alan Namo came out to decry that some of his reporters from Africa Uncensored were arrested without reason or without cause, but they were later released. So as the day went on, proceeded, that was the word I was looking for. As the day proceeded, the skyline around the Great Corner for minutes turned white as police officers used all the tear gas at their disposal to repel the surging youth. Down but not out, the leaders, together with their supporters, turned toward Jamhuri Showground before making their way to Mr. Odinga's political bedroom, which is Kibra, minutes after 4 p.m. Here, he did not let the awareness of the day show as he continued to take his political nemesis, President Ruto, to lower the cost of living, or rather, he asked him to lower the cost of living, open the servers of IEBC to audit the results of the 2022 general election, and stop the ongoing recruitment of new IBC commissioners. The protesters who were chanting Mau Mau slogans could be heard saying that they too are Kenyans and deserve to own land just like the Kenyatta family. And this was happening as opposition leader traversed the capital in defiance. An armed group invaded a vast property owned by the family of former President Uhuru Kenyatta, whom a section of Kenya Kwanza leaders had accused of financing the weekly anti-government protests in Kamakis on the Eastern Bypass. The gang also burnt trees and bushes. Guards employed to take care of the land watched from a distance as the drama unfolded. Armed police officers present did not intervene to stop the looting. Mr. Odinga's properties were also not spared as thugs attacked a company linked to the Odinga family, East Africa Spectral Limited, in industrial area. Now, the Azimio leader condemned the invasions of both his company and the Kenyatta farm. He maintained that the Azimio outfit remained resolute in its quest and called upon his supporters to show up for peaceful demonstrations on Thursday. He said, "I am confident we will succeed in our quest to have President William Ruto heed our demands. However, this story cannot be complete without the beginning, where it all started early in the morning. Anti-riot and general service unit officers erected roadblocks on every road into the city center." Now, unlike last week, where bands of rioters managed to sneak into the city center, this time the capital city was calm as the police managed to keep demonstrators at bay. Not even a rat suspected pro opposition could sneak into the city center. Now, it seemed all the melee was happening within the neighborhoods, and it resulted again to just horrible things happening and a lot of people getting injured or attacked. So that's how yesterday looked. Um, as you know, fire broke out in Northlands. Property was damaged, and of course, members of the press were attacked. Now, other than that happening, and one thing I had no idea was that Winnie Odinga, Raila Odinga's daughter, was arrested. Now let's find out why. Now, social media was awash on Monday, March 27th, with reports of opposition leader Raila Odinga's daughter, Winnie Odinga, being detained at Langata police station. The speculations went rife that Winnie's vehicle was left behind Raila's motorcade, with police officers allegedly firing shots at the car. Speaking to the press, ODM's Director of Communications, Philip Etale, disregarded the reports and confirmed that she was safe. He added that Winnie's vehicle was left behind from the position as it has a minor breakdown, or it had a minor breakdown. Italy, however, noted that the East African Legislative Assembly MP was on her way home. He said, I've spoken to her and she is safe. She is heading home at the moment. Efforts by the press to reach the Langata OCBD went futile as calls went unanswered. Other reports indicated that Winnie Odinga's car was bombarded by police officers and her driver was arrested. The reports elicited debate among Kenyans online who wondered why such steps should be taken on Winnie Odinga or her driver. The news came as Azimio planned mass demonstration entered into second week, and sections of protesters from Kibra, Mathare, Migori, and Kisumu engaged in running battles with police officers. Raila's motorcade, on the other hand, began at Lavington and headed to Kawangware before making a stop to Kibra and finally proceeding to Langata Road. One person was reportedly shot dead during a conversation between police and protesters in Kisumu. All right. Right. That was what was happening on major roads of Kenya last night, and of course, major parts of the day. I would love for you guys to just comment and let me know your views on +254 7883800030. Of course, let's chop it up. Also on any of our Icon Radio KE platforms. I love when you talk to me on YouTube. So holla at your girl and let me know what you think about what went down yesterday. But for now, we take a break and get back into the music. When we come back, we'll be looking at the last bit of the news making the headlines making the news this morning. That was Alicia Keys. You don't know my name. Taking it nice and soulful this morning. I was waiting for the last part. Okay, guy, please. Leave me alone. I had to do it. Yes, it's the breakfast jam. I'm finishing with the last bit of the news this morning. Okay, I heard myself sing on the headphones. I was like, what are you doing? But I had to finish. Anyway, so yes, shocking news as fire breaks out at Kenyatta family's Northlands city. Now you see, I got that headline on my phone. You know, they usually get those notifications on your phone, and you never know whether something is real or it's gutter press, or it's just somebody trying to tell a story, but it might be fictitious. Well, it was actually true, and I looked in shock at 1 o'clock in the morning as I saw the Northlands on fire. Now, if you've ever been around that area, apart from having the Northlands where there are massive, massive trees where they're, I think they're being farmed for different users, these trees. Other than that, next to it is the offices of Brookside, this Peponi school. Like, I was like, man, this is what these guys have to go to see today. It's absolutely scary scenes coming out of there. Now, a fire broke out at Northlands City Project, a property owned by the family of former President Uhuru Kenyatta, on the evening of Tuesday, March 27th. The fire was reported to have started minutes after 7, with images of the property circulating on social media. From the images, the fire engulfed part of the forest located on the property along the Eastern Bypass. Notably, the incident happened hours after the property was attacked by goons who cut down trees and took away an unknown number of cattle. The cause of the fire and the value of damages is yet to be established. By the time of publication and going to press, firefighters were yet to get to the scene. Police were also not at the scene when the fire broke out. Earlier in the day, goons raided the property, with a number of them filmed cutting down trees and stealing sheep. The armed goons also destroyed the fence of the property. Following the incident, Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga condemned the attack, even as he also addressed the raid that was carried out on his company, the East Africa Spectre Limited, by unknown individuals. Now, Raila's gas company is located along Mombasa Road. And he said, today those cowards sent goons to Uhuru's farm in Ruiru and other people to East Africa Spectra. Those are acts of criminals. Azimio leaders are also called on the police to take action against the orchestrators of the loot, even as a section of Kenya Kwanza leaders claim that the attacks were allegedly planned by Azimio. Now, if we take a closer look at the damage that happened at Spectra, now Humphrey Waswa, Safety and Security Manager at East Africa Spectra Limited, a gas plant owned by Azimio leader Raila Odinga, on Monday, March 27th, claimed that security officers took 30 minutes to repulse an attack on the company. Addressing the media, Waswa indicated that a private security firm on standby swung into action, countering the attackers hurling stones at the company along Mombasa Road. The company's perimeter wall also made it harder for the attackers to get past the perimeter wall. Over 100 workers at the firm were also alerted on the situation, making it easy for security guards to provide safety. However, Waswa claimed that the attack was planned and commanded by unknown individuals using land cruisers. He said it took like 30 minutes. We have the police around who responded very well and our staff who were alert. According to the security officer, the CCTV camera captured the vehicle and rowdy youths who pelted the building with stones, destroying property of unknown value. The safety and security manager further alleged that the attackers targeted the company's managing director officer on the building's second floor. Workers were unhurt during the attack and the managing director was absent. He confirmed that the investigations have been launched following the attack. Yeah. Now, moving on from that, we have a win for Raila Odinga as court rules on mass action case. Now, the High Court on Monday, March 27, declined to stop the ongoing Azimio la Umoja demonstrations while delivering the verdict. Justice Hedwig Onguni ruled that the court did not have the authority to force police to ensure peaceful processions and assembly. The petition was filed by former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko days after the countrywide mass action kicked off on March 20th. High Court further declined to issue orders to Inspector General of Police Japhet Kome to arrest the demonstrators, noting that it did not have the authority to direct the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki on who to arrest. On the matter of illegality of the declaration of public holidays by Azimio leader Raila Odinga, the court stated that the Interior CS and the Inspector General of Police would direct on the way forward. Through his lawyer, Sonko argued that the weekly demonstrations caused disruptions and affected businesses across the country. Sonko's petition additionally claimed that on Monday, March 20th, protesters were aimed at forcing President William Ruto out of office. He also held that the mass protests would interfere with the schedule of the Muslim community as they observed Ramadan. All right. That is a roundup of the news making the headline this morning. It's exactly 8:05 a.m. I would still like to hear your views on the emerging trends that happened between yesterday and today. Let me know on +254-788-380030. But in this hour, we're all about that Kenyan vibe as well as our icon of the day. Keep it here. Kamula. Feel No Pain playing right here on the Breakfast Jam. Absolutely loving these throwbacks. If you're loving them too, please just give me a shout out. Let me know how you're feeling the music. Of course, if you have a request, let me know on +254 788 3800. Yes. So it's all about that soulful Tuesday, and that's the speech we're taking you through this morning. And we are also going to be taking a look at the weather as you start your day off. It is 8:18 a.m. on this Tuesday morning, and it looks like in Nairobi it's at 19 degrees, mostly cloudy with chance of thunderstorms. Humidity at 79%. For Mombasa, it is at 29 degrees, intermittent clouds, humidity at 78%. It is extremely humid right about now. And for Kisumu, 22 degrees, intermittent clouds, humidity at 79%. All right, for the roads, it would look like Jogo Road is still bumper to bumper as the morning progresses. So, yes, if you're on that road, please be patient and just be tuning into Icon Radio. Gong Road also bumper to bumper, but however, moving, not looking too crazy. Up and past the Daystar roundabout, but when you pass that roundabout, it's getting just a little bit thick on the roads with heavy traffic seeming to be up on that way as well as around Coptic Hospital. If we look at University of Nairobi, seems to be nice and clear for now, going up and past the roundabout. However, on that Nairobi Expressway, man, it's not looking too good. So I would suggest you just use the lower roads because it's looking at expressway. The time I was on that road and I stayed on that place for way too long, and that was because of paying for the tolls. Um, if you are on Langata Road, it's looking pretty nice up until you get to the Nyayo National Stadium roundabout, where it looks a little bit murky, bumper to bumper traffic. It's just lighting up red, 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 red. So yes, also try to be patient when you're on that way. If we look at Mombasa, not looking too bad. But however, when we get towards the roundabout for past Lusaka, it is just a little bit of traffic over there. Lusaka Road as well, looking like there's traffic there, as well as Bunyala Road. But that's how it's looking on major roads of Nairobi this morning. If you do see any accidents or incidents, be sure to hit me up and let me know on +254 788 380030. Of course, we are taking your requests. My lines are absolutely open. Let me know what you'd like to listen to on that WhatsApp number or on any of the Icon Radio KE platforms. You know, YouTube is where I love interacting with you. So be sure to hit me up in that comment section. Of course, follow, like, and subscribe. But before we go into the break, I got to tell you about the tournament that's coming up. We're going to be giving out these tickets this week. So tune into the Breakfast Jam and you could win yourself a pair of the tickets to the Benjamin Ayimba Rugby Legacy Tournament that is taking place next week. Literally counting days to the tournament. So it's going down next week between 7th to 9th of April at the Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos. All right, that is the thing that's happening. Now you're in the know. Let's get back into the music. And when we come back, we'll be looking at our icon of the day, who is in charge of the U.S. Navy in 14 countries. More on that after this. Mad throwback right there with Della doing Hello. The cover that was originally done by Adele, of course, doing it justice. When she came out with it, like everybody was floored how not too far she was from Adele in terms of the vocal range and of course her performance of that track. Absolutely amazing music playing right here on the Breakfast Jam. I'm your girl Myra Maloba, the Afro-Punk Queen. Today we're looking at our icon of the day making moves right there in the US Navy of all places. It is leading special operations in 14 countries. Now, what am I talking about? He's called Paul Kengara and he's a target developer for US Africa Command and is currently an assessor for exercise Cutlass Express 2023. Now, Cutlass Express is an annual maritime exercise sponsored by the US Africa Command and conducted by the United States Naval Forces Africa in the West Indian Ocean and East African coastal regions. As an assessor, he evaluates the mission's progress, offering insights and solutions. Born and raised in Nairobi, Kenya, was enlisted in the US Navy a year before he finished his degree. Although he moved to different ranks before being appointed to his role, his father had earlier opposed the idea of joining the Navy. Kangara recalled that his father had reservations due to the war in Iraq and other parts of the whole world where US soldiers were deployed. I can understand what the father was feeling. So when I wanted to join the military, Paul says, my dad immediately was like, there is a no way. At this point, it was 2003. The Iraq war was in full swing, and I had all the resources and other options available. I 100% went against the culture there. He didn't talk to me for a while because of it, but I had a plan. I had a reason to do it, to carve a path to finish my degree and to commission. Despite his Bosso with Tani. That was supposed to be for request hour, but it seems all the songs I requested for are done. Anyway, yes, we are still showing love for the 254, but we are finishing off with this hour. And of course, we are taking in your requests for the next one. Let me know what you'd like to get played. But for now, we finish up with our icon of the day. Now, we're looking at Paul Kengara, who manages to lead special operations in 14 countries for the U.S. Navy. Now, he was born and raised in Nairobi and was enlisted in the U.S. Navy a year before he finished his degree. Although he moved to different ranks before being appointed to his role, his father had earlier posed the idea of joining the Navy. Now, he says he 100% went against the culture, and his father didn't talk to him for a while because of it. And he had a plan, and he had a reason to do it, to cover a path to finish his degree and to eventually commission. Now, despite his family's reservations, Kengara was enlisted in the U.S. Navy and deployed as a duty mechanic for a helicopter squadron in San Diego, Southern California. In the Navy, Kengara was responsible for the professional development of sailors 15 years later, and he was transferred to the reserves, a decision which left him in dilemma. Now, he says, after 15 years, I got out. It was an emotional decision. I wanted to go to school for something that didn't tie to my community really well. So I got out and went reserves. Part of me regrets it. It has been easy in the reserve. It doesn't, rather, it has not been easy in the reserves. You know, active duty, your path is charted for you. When it's time to rotate, your detailer tells you where to go. You have admin officers taking care of your records for you. Nonetheless, he was later picked as an assessor for Exercise Cutlass Express 2023, his current role. The exercise was designed to promote national and regional security in the Western Indian Ocean and increase interoperability. Interoperability. I will look up that word. Between the US and other East African countries. Interoperability. There we go. Now, in the 2 weeks, 14 countries were listed to participate in the exercise, including Canada, Comoros, Djibouti, France, Georgia, Greece, Kenya, Madagascar, Mauritius, Mozambique, Seychelles, Tanzania, United Kingdom, and the US. Such a big role he is playing. Of course, we do celebrate him today as our icon of the day, Paul Kengara. Big shout out to you for what you are doing. Again, just putting Kenyans on the map and taking out such a big role. 14 countries. 14 countries he's leading. For sure, somebody to look up to. Of course, if you're somebody who's always wanted to join the Navy, just look up his story or join the US Army or even our Kenyan Army. Just look up his story and see his story of resilience and how he managed to continue on with his mission to where he is till now. We salute you, Paul Kengara, and of course, we salute you as our icon of the day. All right, it's exactly 9 a.m. and we are officially taking in your requests. Let me know what you'd like to get played. I will definitely play for you this morning. On +254 788 3800. Anything goes so long as it's nice and clean. I got you covered. We'll also be taking a look at some of the entertainment news making the headlines this morning and what to expect during the Benjamin Ayimba Rugby Legacy Tournament. This is the Breakfast Jam. That is a massive throwback. The last time I had that song, listen, I had a brain fart just because I talked. I was gonna say something, then I said something else. But yes, the last time I heard that song by Jim Jones, oh my god. Hey, it's just showing my age. Anyway, that was We Fly High, Jim Jones, and of course, Dipset in the building. That video when it came out was massive, massive. Everybody, with their swagged out jeans as well as their, their tops and their hoodies and their bling. Ah, man, life was just easier at that time, don't you think? It was just, a little bit like laid back and nobody had to think about too much. Right now, there's so much going on in the world apart from what's happening here in Kenya. I'm just reading right now about um, a horrific shooting that happened in Nashville, Tennessee, where a trans person who is age 28 year old went shooting through a school and killed three children as well as three teachers. Again, a lot is going on in the world. France, they burned down one of their city halls as well, just to protest against their president. Man, I think the world needs a massive chill pill. Like, it's too much. When you're opening your phone, there's too much going on. But we're here to just ease your mood this morning. And of course, taking your requests, whatever you want to listen to, we are here to get you sorted. So be sure to send them in on +254 788 380030. Also, pay attention to the Ayimba Rugby Legacy Tournament. You can follow them on at Ayimba Rugby Masaku and get to find out everything that's happening. It's been an amazing 2 weeks of activations. We're finishing our last round of activations this week. We're going to be everywhere from Mombasa Road to Machakos, just spreading the legacy of Benjamin Ayimba, as well as giving you the opportunity to get your early bird tickets because they're going to be way cheaper than what you get at the gate. Season tickets, regular, going for 1,000 shillings only, VIP for 2,500 shillings only, and students for all 3 days. All you pay is 600 bob. So follow at Ayimba Rugby Maskei. I'll be also be giving out a few tickets this week. So be sure to tune into the Breakfast Jam and you could win yourself a pair of tickets to this event held at Machakos between the 7th and the 9th of April. All right, let's take a quick look at the weather this morning. In Nairobi, 21 degrees, intermittent clouds, humidity at 76%. Mombasa, at 30 degrees, intermittent clouds, humidity at 73%. And in Kisumu, it's intermittent clouds, 24 degrees, going 10 a.m., humidity at 72%. All right, when we take a quick look at the roads, Gongor is not looking too good. Bumper to bumper going past the roundabout there at Daystar and going up until Kenya Railways is just heavy traffic on that road. If we look at Jogo Road, it is a bit of traffic, but it is, however, moving on Luksaka Road. It is also looking like there's heavy traffic around that area, as well as Bunyala Road. Going to Langata Road, it's looking like it's moving, but when we're getting to the Nyaya National Stadium roundabout, it is bumper to bumper. University of Nairobi Way now has started up with the traffic right about there, going up and past the roundabout right about now. And if you look around Ngara and Pumwani, it seems to have eased up with the traffic around there. And yes, it's looking pretty much clear. If there are any incidents or accidents you would like to report, be sure to let me know on +254 788 380030. Also send in your requests on that same number and we'll be sure to play them when we come back. We'll be looking at some of the entertainment news making the headlines this morning. Right. So that was El Kuje with Hush. As in, okay. Sometimes you feel like the world is just going to end. Like there's just too much happening. And just reading about, the gun violence that's taking over in the States, it's so horrific to hear, especially when you have family and friends living there and you never know which day, which day would be their best or their last over there. So we are really standing together with America right now, the people of Nashville, Tennessee, and what they've had to endure during this horrific time, and just having to watch it play out again and again and again on the news. Man, say 3 children passed. The time you're hitting out at children and actually aiming at them and shooting at them, and the story is because the the people of Nashville, their government or whatever, decided to pass a law that bans, children from having to, transform into trans. Yeah. So that would be male into female, female into male. Um, and that seemed to have, of course, angered a lot of people who feel like those rights should be observed. But for this particular person, they went into the school literally gun blazing, like literally just shot from the outside of the school going in, and did not care who they were aiming at, and ended up killing 6 innocent souls. Horrific. And we are praying with the people of Nashville and America this time. It was a Christian school that they aimed at. Audrey Hill, a Christian school. Right. So, other than that, our star of Creed was making the news for all the right reasons. That's Jonathan Majors. Big film that came out, was executive produced by Michael B. Jordan. And after an amazing Oscar weekend, he is now in the news for all the wrong reasons. Now, and law enforcement say the alleged victim of Jonathan Majors has accused him of assault. And it turns out the victim is his girlfriend. Now, according to TMZ, law enforcement says that the alleged victim accusing Jonathan Majors of assault is his girlfriend. The couple was reportedly in a taxi when the argument started. They reportedly got into the altercation after his girlfriend caught another woman texting the actor's phone. They say the matter escalated when his girlfriend tried to view the message on his phone and was met with a slap from Majors. He then allegedly proceeded to put his hands around her neck. A representative for Jonathan Majors says he's done nothing wrong. Well, he has now had endorsements dropped, and of course, all the wrong news being spread about him because of this. He claims he is completely innocent. People around him claim he's completely innocent, but the girlfriend is sticking to her word, and says that she was indeed attacked. It's crazy. It's crazy to go from being on the red carpet to being handcuffed and put into jail. Of course, we do hope this story will be cleared out soon, and hope that it wasn't the case as is being reported at this time. But this story is still developing. But yes, his army ad campaign was pulled despite claims that the actor is completely innocent. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you have fallen in love with Jonathan Majors just as I had, and of course had until he's proven guilty, okay, I'm sorry, okay. When it comes to violence against women, that's where I draw the line. I'm not like ifs or maybes until proven innocent. Okay, so I'm hoping that he does get proven innocent, that I'm proven wrong, that indeed he did not have to resort to such measures to get get himself heard and to solve this situation. All right, we're going back into the music. When we come back, we'll look at a little bit more. Hey, today I'm just stammery. Need to drink water. But yes, we'll be looking at more of the entertainment news making the headlines this morning. And of course, how you can grab your tickets for the Benjamin Naimba Rugby Legacy Tournament this week. Keep it right here on the Breakfast Jam. This has been the Breakfast Jam. I've been your girl, Myra Maloba, the Afropunk Queen, as we are indeed coming to the end of the show. Yes, so like I told you, all you got to do is go to tickets, hustle sasa, madfun.com, as well as tikiti.co.k to cop your tickets. You cannot afford to miss. Like literally everything that's going to be happening that weekend is going to be massive fun. We're going to be having the entire Icon Radio crew down there, as well as amazing lineup. You've seen DJ Seme. He has this big song called Far Away. He's been doing his media tour. He's been doing massive joints up in, enough events. And now he's going to be gracing our event. Listen, he's worked with everybody who's anybody in Afrobeats. So you cannot afford to miss DJ Sem on the decks. We also have our very own DJ Ascom, our very own Napsi Huru. We also have Saisa Dabi also getting up in that flank. We have surprise celebrity performances as well. Like, listen, the Benjamin Ayimba Rugby Legacy Tournament is where you need to be this Easter. It is the only plan that makes sense. You get full-on rugby action as well as entertainment, all packed into one stadium. Like, how cool is that? You can't even beat that anywhere. So you need to copy your tickets. Regular are 1,000, VIP are 2,500, and for students are 600 for all 3 days. Okay, all 3 days, and the VIP tickets are limited. So if you want to be in that space and experience it for the first time, get your tickets now, and of course enjoy that weekend with us at Masako. Guys, we gotta go, we gotta leave. I'll leave you here with a selection of music by my producer Joy, and we will be back again tomorrow, same time, same place. And of course, be safe, guys. Be safe out there. And for those who are just thinking of doing foolishness, just stop, man. Stop. They're the same places you need to go back to. The same damage you're causing is the same one you have to live with. So just stop. All right. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Myra Maloba, the Afropunk Queen. Good morning.